October 21st, 2025. This is my trading journal, posted here just for my own education and learning. So today was an amazing day. I was in early on Beyond Meat when I was around zero point 0.6, and I did average up a little bit again today, but at around the $3 mark is when I stopped buying into it, and we ended the day almost four. Actually, after hours we went past $4 just a little bit. Will Beyond keep going up? I have no idea, but all I know is I've already covered my initial investment by selling various calls and stock that I was holding, and now it's just I'm going to hold until it hits 100 or until I hit my stop loss, which I think I'll probably stop if it goes down to about $2. Um, Best case scenario, we get another meme stock scenario and it goes up to $100 or something crazy like that. But worst case scenario, I've already covered my initial investment and made a good chunk of change. So um, current positions, I have an overnight SPY put. I actually bought 10 contracts of that, one DTE. I did make about 40% on that. I closed out 9 of them. I have one runner. I'm holding a Lotto IWN put. I took some of my winnings from Beyond today and I put more into Bull. Bull is a long term hold. I don't plan on selling that for quite some time. Um, I also bought a couple more cash secured puts on Oscar, SoFi, and I bought a couple more contracts of BCRX. So, what was the day like? It was a busy day. I mean, beyond not only was I selling out of my original position a little bit, but I was also day trading every resistance break. I also made a nice profit on my QQQ puts from yesterday. I sold those essentially right away in the day. Um, it's risky to hold those for too long. And then I also had some uh, zero DTE that I kept until the end of the day, and I sold. It looks like for $40. Now, the big thing is beyond. I mean, yeah, it was just crazy today. I made a good chunk of change. I mean, it's not going to happen all the time, but it is nice to see when something goes exactly as planned. So, in my last trading journal, I talked about the different levels. And to be completely frank, I was not expecting every single level to get hit today. I mean, it blew away my expectations. Um, and I don't have any levels here. So the first level was we got to bust out this short. So I did have an alert here, and I sold some here, and then the next level was around $3 psychological level as well as heavily shorted. You can see from this red bar, and yeah, that's so now I'm in runners and I'm holding everything here until we go all the way back down to probably $2.50 is where I'll cut it. I'm just putting it ballpark right here is where I'll finally sell out, or maybe I'll double down. I mean, it depends when it happens and what the situation is. Double down or sell or stop loss because, like I said, I've already covered my initial investment, so I'm not sure. I could conceivably hold all the way down to, let's say, to like $2.20, somewhere in this range right before that first big short happened. Now the next target I will be holding um, this spike downward right here. If we make it to $5, I'll, and we pretty much did make it to $5. I mean, look how close that is. Maybe I'll trim off a little bit more. Right now, I'm mostly in contracts. I still have some shares though. The next level after that will be 650. It looks like. Next level after that will be around 750. Huge spike downward here. This will be about $9. Um, 10, 10, 20, somewhere in that range. And then the next level would be 15.5. And trust me, I don't think we're going to make it here, but you never know. Um, so here are the levels that I'm thinking. You just open up the graph and look where every time it's spiked down, that's where you're going to take some profit. These are a lot of levels, so realistically, I'm just going to keep holding and keep moving my stop loss up until, who knows, maybe we'll hit a new high, 226. Realistically, though, this could go back down to 1. This could go back down to 50 cents. I just don't think it's going to happen yet. I'm still bullish, at least for another, I was going to say until the end of the year, but it's moving up so fast that maybe this squeeze is going to happen fast and it's going to fizzle out fast. I don't know. I might, yeah, we'll just see how tomorrow goes on that one. That was an interesting one. Now, why was I in QQQ puts? I saw this ascending triangle here. It's a little hard to see. This line and this line ended up creating an ascending triangle, pretty steep. And so there is a breakdown that I managed to make a profit on right here. And this is on the 4-hour chart. And it actually continued to break down. And after hours, we did have some earnings. Netflix tanking on earnings. This is, for me, it's great news. My main portfolio is still long heavy, but this portfolio I was actually bearish because on QQQ and SPY, we're also reaching that all-time high. And the only thing that's really going to push us above that is, to be honest, a Trump tweet that says the government shutdown is over and the tariffs are off. But we'll see what happens. If Trump tweets something here, maybe we'll go to all-time highs. But I think we're going to retrace on SPY now. We're going to retrace down to this support line, and from here, I'll just watch and see. I'll look what the volume's doing. If the volume shows that we're gaining support, we're hovering above this support line, then that's my indication to go long. And to do that, I'll zoom into like the 5-minute or the 30-minute. And you'll notice as we bounce around these trend lines, we get little spikes in relative volume, and that's kind of what I use to determine if it's going to go up or go down, if it's going to break the support or if it's going to stay there. So that's what I'm expecting to happen, and especially with Netflix having bad earnings, it's breaking down. I'm pretty excited. Honestly, I've been waiting for a pullback on this market for a while, and until we're about 10% down, I'm not going to be sweating it. Because think of what's going on in the news. We got tariffs, we've got government shutdown, we've got the credit crisis looming. There's no way we're going to reach an all-time high. I am still watching Twitter, though. Trump could change everything in a second. Oh, we've broken through the Democrats. We're all friends now. We're reopening the government. All-time high could happen. Tariffs are off. We love China. We're best friends. All-time high. The only thing though is with the credit crisis looming. What happened Friday? The market had a huge pullback. All the financial stocks, if you go to the financial sector here, XLF, they're in a downtrend, and it got really bad on Friday. Let me zoom out to the 1 hour. What happened on Friday? Thursday is what it was, actually. Thursday, there was some news. I think it was JP Morgan or something along those lines had a huge write-down saying there's some bad loans out there, and someone came out and said if there's one cockroach, there's got to be hundreds, and the market just tanked. And somehow Friday they decided that maybe that's not true. I don't know. I don't care. I know the big players are always hiding something until they can exit their positions, and so until I see all the earnings from this month and going into year end, I'm actually bearish on the bigger market. So that's another reason why I'm playing like Beyond, why I put a little bit more into BCRX. On BCRX, we have a clear trend line now. I'm on the hourly time frame. You can see it bounced, and my trend line does need to be adjusted. It's not perfect, but you can see it's essentially bouncing off this trend line. So I will be taking profit somewhere above this 200 EMA on my small account. On my big account, I'm just letting it ride for at least a little bit longer. I mean, we'll see how the volume shapes up. Same with Bull. Bull, I'm just a long-term hold. I mean, if there is a financial crisis looming, certainly that would affect Bull as well. But with interest rate cuts, I am leaning more towards smaller companies. I think with the government shutdown, our odds of a interest rate cut are much higher than without the government shutdown. So I'm looking at smaller companies. And on Bull, we did break out of this downtrend. Not a ton of volume, so I'm a little worried about that. But we did have what looked like some extra accumulation here, and I drew this box on this long wick. You can see we had what looked to be some nice accumulation here, and so I think as long as we're between 10.5 and 11.3, I'm gonna keep buying because clearly someone else is, and they know more than I do, and that's what I'm going to target for my support level for Bull. Of course, if it breaks down here, I have an alert. I don't watch this all the time. I just set an alert. If it reaches 10.46, I'll consider getting out. I will learn my lesson from Okta and Amazon where, it might wick downward. I still have my upward line on Okta. It looks like it's following that. And I know Amazon has been breaking out of its downtrend. In fact, my lines from yesterday, just like Beyond, is going faster than I expected. So it looks like it could retrace back, but it could bounce. I need to update my trend lines here because I don't know if this trend line is still accurate. Yeah, what could happen here? It could bounce off this upper trend line. It could break out. My bet is on down because we really need a catalyst to break out of the broader downtrend here. And this is a downtrend that's been going since, let's see, when did it start this downtrend? In September, and now we're looking at, a month. Yeah, about a month since the downtrend started in earnest. Anyways, I would bet it goes down. There's no reason for it to go up unless it gets memed. Because we really need a catalyst like earnings or something to push it up. Or, like I said, a Trump tweet. So I'm not going in Amazon. I do have an alert actually set up here to watch for the breakout. I'm going to move it up to there. And then if it does break out, I'll be watching it closely. Let me delete my old lines. And let me draw what I actually think is going to happen here. I think, and I'm not Nostradamus, but this is a decently strong trend line. Let's double check. We have 2.5 points. Like this one, there's like a steeper downward trend line. And this one, if I were to bet, I think it's going to bounce down. I think it's going to go right back down to this accumulation area until earnings. And then earnings will see it close to the trend line. And if they have good earnings, boom, rocket, all-time highs. If they have bad earnings, well, sometimes it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Sometimes it just matters what the market's feeling that day. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how tomorrow goes.